Welcome. So, today we're going to dive into this really powerful technique from the ancient Stoics, and it's designed to do just one thing, really. Help us see the world as it actually is, and get a handle on those emotions that, so often get in our way. But before we dive in, make sure to stick around until the end of this video for a 24-hour challenge, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I mean, we've all been there, right? You look outside, and it's not just a rainstorm. No, it's a miserable day. It's the day that ruined our plans. But here's the thing. The rain itself isn't the real problem. The suffering, that almost always comes from that extra layer, that story, that emotional coloring we splash all over everything. We don't just experience things, we judge them. And man, we can be harsh judges. So what's the fix? Well, the Stoics actually came up with a solution for this exact problem thousands of years ago. They called it the objective view. Think of it as a mental tool, a way to just cut right through all that emotional fog. Okay, so the formal Greek term is a mouthful, Phantasia Catelepticae. Yeah, it sounds super academic, I know, but the goal is actually really simple. It's about stripping away all those layers of emotion and judgment we automatically throw on top of everything. It's about describing the world with, the cold, hard precision of a scientist, getting rid of all those dramatic words that just feed our anxiety. If you're going to remember one thing, let it be this. It all boils down to one simple idea. See things as they are, not worse than they are. That's it. This isn't about pretending problems don't exist. It's about refusing to make them bigger than they need to be. So, to really get a grip on how this works in practice, let's look at one of the most powerful people who ever lived, who actually used this every single day. We're talking about the Roman Emperor himself, Marcus Aurelius. I mean, if anyone needed a tool to stay grounded, it was the guy running an entire empire. So check this out. Picture him at a banquet, being served the finest, most expensive wine, a huge status symbol back then. But what did he see? He didn't see luxury or prestige. In his own mind, he broke it down to its basic parts. This is just grape juice that has turned sour. See what he did? He refused to let the story about the wine cloud his judgment, and he did the exact same thing with his clothes. I mean, his purple imperial robes were the ultimate symbol of power. They screamed, "I'm the emperor." But to himself, he'd say, "This is just sheep's wool dyed with the blood of a shellfish." By deconstructing it like that, he took away its power over his ego. He sought for what it was, not just what it represented. Okay, breaking down wine and robes. That makes sense. But you might be thinking, how does this work for something way more personal? Like, what about when someone insults you to your face? Well, let's use the exact same method. Let's deconstruct an insult. Step 1, what's happening physically? Sound waves are moving through the air. That's it. Step 2, how are they made? A person is just vibrating their vocal cords. Now, step 3, this is the important one. This is where you come in. You have the opinion that these specific sounds are insulting. The insult isn't in the sound waves, it's in your judgment about the sound waves. And when you realize that, the sting starts to fade. So this whole idea isn't just for dealing with fancy wine or insults. No, this can be an absolute game changer when you apply it across the board to your mind, your body, and yeah, even your soul. Let's take something really tough, like losing a job. The immediate narrative, right? I lost my job. My life is over. I'm going to be homeless. Total catastrophe mode. But what is the objective you look like? It's just a list of facts. My employment contract was terminated. I have this much money in the bank. I have these skills. I have 8 hours of daylight today to start sending out applications. You see the difference? You can't fix my life is over, but you can absolutely take action on a list of facts. And I really want to stress this point because it's crucial. This is not positive thinking. We're not trying to slap a happy sticker on a bad situation. That can be just as unhelpful as being negative. This is about accurate thinking. And when you're accurate, you're standing on solid ground. You have real facts you can use to build a real plan. Okay, Now let's talk about the body. We tell ourselves such dramatic stories about what we feel, don't we? But what if you saw that hunger pang not as this desperate emergency, but just a chemical signal from your body saying it needs fuel? What if feeling cold was just your thermoreceptors reacting to the temperature? And pain? What if it's not some personal attack, but just information? When you frame it like that, your ability to handle it goes way, way up. And this all leads us to the soul, right? Because our ego, oh man, our ego loves to be the main character in a big drama. A friend forgets to call back, and the ego immediately screams, "They hate me." It's a betrayal. But the objective view, it just says the phone didn't ring. That's it. When you take that ego filter away, you start to see that the world is neutral. It's not out to get you, but it's not trying to please you either. It just is. And honestly, there's a deep, deep sense of peace in that. Okay, so that's all the theory, but knowing it isn't the same as doing it, right? So let's make this real. I want to give you a super simple, direct challenge that you can start, well, right now. Here's the challenge. For the next 24 hours, I want you to try something called the just technique. It's easy. Anytime you feel that surge of emotion, anger, frustration, anxiety, I want you to pause, take a breath, and describe what's happening using the word just. So that horrible traffic jam. No, this is just a delay. That soul-crushing criticism. This is just a person expressing an opinion. That feeling of panic. This is just a feeling of tightness in my chest. See, you're stripping away the drama. And here's why this matters so much. Here's the big takeaway. All that fear, all that anxiety, all that suffering, it all comes from the masks we put on reality. It comes from the stories, the judgments. But when you practice taking those masks off, when you strip it all away, you're left with the world as it is, and you find that it's something you can handle. It's something you don't have to fear.